All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Evelyn. Evelyn is a very wonderful human being who I have known since 2016, 2017,
Something like that.
somewhere around there. And this is so the beauty of the internet, because people always talk shit about the internet, but like we've gotten to know each other, create a relationship, and you know, we didn't actually even work together in any capacity. Like you would just send me like questions, or we would talk about stuff, and we even got on the phone a couple of times
Yeah.
to just kind of talk through things. But anyways, like where we are today, I just want to start with like what you've accomplished, but then we'll go backwards. So like how much weight have you lost? I think you
Like,
started in October, right? Like,
I started in August. I lost 30 pounds. But when I met you, I was pre 30 pounds, so I had gained
yeah,
them, lost them, and I've maintained them off.
yeah. So, and you're looking amazing,
Thank you.
and you're super consistent. Your strength is, we can get into some of those details, but let's go back to the beginning. Give us, give us a story, not just like fitness related, but like give us a little bit of your background and, what struggles you had with as far as fitness and nutrition and making yourself consistent uh, with all that kind of stuff.
Sure. First off, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so happy to have this time with you. I've been living in your DMs since 2016, 2017. Thank you so much for always answering my questions. Um, that time we did talk for an hour. I was really special, and you really took the time to listen to me and share how you can help. It was way too expensive at the time, and you've since offered different programs. Um, so I'm always grateful for you and the time you've given me. But um, I when we first met, I was working at a law firm, working 9 to 5, building a side hustle and trying to squeeze the gym whenever I could. So sometimes it was the morning, sometimes it was at night, and I would go to 24-hour fitness. So whenever I could, I didn't have anything too disciplined. It was pretty much, it was kind of like a push pull leg split, but I wasn't, it was on and off, and that's, it was like that for a long time. Um, I got more I lost the weight I wanted to lose this past year, and it really started after a breakup in August. I was really in my head, but I remember all throughout these years, I was always messaging you, like, even though I couldn't afford you, hey, I wanted to stay accountable to somebody who is in the field, who knows a lot, and like, hey, here's my progress, here's this, like, look at this, and you'd always be encouraging, like, oh, keep it up, that's great, you're looking better, you're doing whatever, like, and I would always accountability, but also like hey, I don't know. So thank you for that. And now, yeah, I I started losing weight
Well,
in
that's
August.
I just want to like say like that's important, um the and we can maybe talk about a little bit of this stuff later on, but there's this perception of even from people on the fitness in the fitness field, and what other coaches tell them or what they show, or business coaches tell people what to do and how to do it. And to me it always was like, well, a lot of the stuff never made sense to me. Like, if somebody's going to ask me a question, like of course I want them to sign up and work with me, but it doesn't cost me anything to be able to have a conversation with somebody and possibly help them change their life and like completely experience something completely different. So I have to give, and that's why, like, most people, isn't, I mean, the coaches really help, obviously, but at the end of the day it's the person. Like, I can't take credit for the work that you did, even up to the point of like you're sending me updates and progress pictures over this, long time period and just messaging me about different things. That's all you. Like the desire was with you, and the desire is what causes the things to start to change. So, um, you know, as like a little, piece of advice to anybody, don't like really honor your desire and just, whatever it is, just keep taking whatever small step that you can. Because it's really easy to get discouraged. And that's one of the things that I always look for is encouragement. Like I still have a coach. Like I know I've been doing this for a very long time, but I love encouragement because then I can continuously like encourage myself. But I like having a coach encouraging me because it makes me feel good. And if you don't feel good, it's hard to say no to this or that and blah blah blah. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that because I think that was very special. Because guess what? Out of I don't know, fucking thousands of people who have messaged me since 2011 or 12, I don't remember very many who didn't work with me and got results. Like because they just don't. Like most people don't get results, or
Yeah.
or at least not permanent results. So props to you for that. And I mean, we did end up working together in the what did we do last year? It was
Maybe
the
that's fine.
555. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Um,
Yeah, so I started losing weight in August, and then once you started talking about you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna do something. I want you to do a part of it, and to be like an admin or something." And I was like, it was so special. I was really honored, and thank you for that. I've been in groups before where I'm like so scared and insecure, and like, oh, just thinking everybody's better than me or thinking everybody knows more than me, and I would always be scared to speak up or whatever. And because I had lost the weight and you just always made it so simple. You were like, no BS, like, don't feel guilty about it. I think for years, and I've worked through this in therapy, guilt and shame was taking over my life for a long time. And being able to get over that, being able to have changed my life in a lot of different ways, but also like with food. We eat every day. And I hate catching people say things like, I don't deserve that, or I need to earn that, or it's like, no, dude, you were always very like fit it in your macros, but also if you slip up, it's okay. Do better tomorrow or balance it out over the week. And the way you break things down, it's so simple, and it's like, why are you gonna break your head over XYZ nonsense when you can just plug in numbers, follow that, and get results? And yeah, it's annoying, but I remember like your posts were really funny. You're like, oh, I'm breaking my head over weighing this thing and plugging it into my app. It's so hard.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, and keeping it off has been pretty good because once you start getting into it, you're like, I can eat more, but I'm not hungry, and it's like, what can I eat to satisfy this need? But it's not. I don't know. You just look at things differently.
I think the removing any type of emotion around it, especially negative, is very important because here's the thing. I'm obsessed with being lean. Like I want and need to be lean. It's my preference. But also, I know that it doesn't matter. I don't place this thing of like judgment on myself or other people of like, which like a lot of fitness people do is like, you should be like this. What's the problem with America's obesity problem and this and the blah 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 and like and the corporation? It's like it's just fucking food and it's just body fat. If you want to be leaner, you can. And all of a sudden that drama just kind of drops and you're like, it's easier to make a move, you know? Speaking of drama, like I think one of the big changes was when you were deciding to like, okay, I'm gonna quit, working at the law firm, because I know we've had conversations about that and how that played into, yeah, you were trying to do stuff, but you didn't really like, have this like huge leap forward until you made that decision and then left. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, what was, the experience while you were there, and then finally things were getting better as well with your, with the massage. So Evelyn works as a massage therapist. And so she had been working on both of those things at the same time, and how then she finally decided to, okay, I'm going to go full time into this. And I could see a very clear shift, and then you could see a very clear shift in her, body too. So, tell me a little bit about that time period of like the entire time you've been working, or you were working at the law firm, and how that affected things.
Yeah, my desk was always the food, the sorry, my desk was always a store. People would come to me like, "Oh, what
Yeah.
snacks do you have?" Or, and so I would try to have like healthy snacks, but then it doesn't taste well. Some of them didn't taste as good. And then I would like try to, I don't know. And then I was like trying to have like yogurt and granola and different things, and just trying to see what fits my macros. And then the pink drink that you guys talked about in the 555 was great. Which is what's the brand of yogurt?
Faye Faye yogurt. So it's just a Greek yogurt with Crystal Light, fruit punch, Crystal Light, and
Um,
water. I'd like to put water in it, thin it out a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah, because one of the biggest things you struggle with when you're starting to count your macros and look at protein, it's like, oh, how am I going to eat so much protein? Sorry, massage. Yeah, so my desk was always the food desk at the office, and um, transitioning to like healthy stuff. I don't know, it's different because I feel like I went through so many different. I made a lot of mistakes, so when I would see my coworkers or different people making mistakes, I'm like, don't look at it like that. Or some people would be like, oh, I don't want to obsess over counting macros or plugging things in. I'm like, it's just data. It's just numbers. Don't think about it. Like removing that, like you said, removing the emotion from that is huge. Um, and so yeah, when I started going to massage school and I was still working and trying to fit all that was crazy. Um, Massage school really changed my life because it made me more present. Um, and leaving, I quit the law firm in April. I graduated in April. I quit the law firm in April. I started working full time as a massage therapist in May. I can't believe it's only been 4 months. I'm already at 400 massages for the year. I'm really excited to see where this career takes me. I hope I will take care of my body so I can have a long career
Yeah.
helping people. And it's really interesting to see like people struggle with the same thought processes of I can't, or this thing won't let me, or I want to but the want isn't big enough, and I'm just like, just switch that thought, like just
Yeah.
and that's always been, I remember calling you the mindset doctor because you I like tell you a problem and you're like, oh, just think about it like this, and I'm like, yeah, it's genius. And you always simplify things, and so when you post things like, yeah, I eat a donut and coffee every day, or like when you talk shit about protein donuts, you're like, protein
Yeah.
shake, donut, protein
Yeah.
donut.
Yeah, I mean, to me, but it comes from the same thing. Like we all struggle with things in different arenas, and then it affects the things that we want, because I mean, it is really simple, and that's why I remind that to every person, because I'm reminding myself, and it's like, if you don't feel good, it's gonna be very hard for you to then go, you know, uh, instead of saying, "Oh, all the coworkers are going out for drinks, I'm gonna go to the gym and then go home and go to sleep," because you don't really have a reason. There's no like any special celebration. It's just like that's routine and that's what everybody does. But if you're feeling, like if you're feeling shitty from either like relationship stuff, work stress, financial stress, and you're not able to like find a way to feel good, it becomes very difficult to do track your macros and go to the gym because you feel like shit.
Yeah.
And I know, part of the thing that was the shift really happened when when you kind of decided like I'm gonna do massage school, and then when you did end your relationship. um and what things like what things really helped you, like, actually, let me back up. Like, were you always able to get into a good mood to do those things, or were you just generally in a better mood, or you just kind of did the things because that's what you wanted really bad, regardless of your mood,
Well, I had
if
done
that
it
makes
on and
sense?
off for a long time, and
And what would make you go off every time? Like, that happens with a lot of people. They do it on and off, but they can't put together 6 months or 9 months or 12 months.
I can't pinpoint what exactly. I just remember getting on a good streak on my Lose It app, and it tells you like, oh, your X amount of days consistent. Like your max day was like 500, and I was like, well, I wonder what happened. What stopped it after the breakup? I was just like, I need the gym to help me get to a good mood. So, um, I the gym really helped me with that, and so I was like, I don't only want to do it physically. I also want to make sure my macros are good. And then when you did talk about the group, the Easy 55, having a community of people really helps. And again, being okay with myself, like I've been in a group where I'm like scared to talk and it's not encouraging. In this group, you gave me the semi-responsibility, but also the freedom to say, hey, I want you to help my members. And that was like, I got you, dude. I got you. You've helped me so much. I would love to help your people. So I'm like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Maybe I talked a little bit too much, but I was like, I don't care. I'm helping you. We're helping each other. We're part of this group for a reason. And um being part of a community has been it it makes things easier and faster and smoother because you know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Um,
That you know and one of the reasons I asked you to do that was because I know as people we have a tendency to repeat the same unhelpful thoughts and feelings, and that's fine. But if I want to change it, I have to start to, like, I can't keep repeating it. I can say, I'm not saying like, oh, we need to remove that, but we do need to counteract it with a different desired or helpful thought. And so that's why I told you, like, I don't want people going down these rabbit holes of negative thinking or negative feelings. Like, uh, accept the feeling and the thought and emotion, and then use that as contrast to be like, what do I actually want to think and feel? That's the value of the negative thinking and feeling. It gives you contrast, so you can be like, oh, this doesn't feel good. I want this. So that's why I told you, like, get in there and, like, help with these things.
yeah, it's just crazy how people beat themselves up about like, oh, I really want this bread. I really want, but I can't. Oh, and I've been there. I've been there so many times. Like, oh, I can't. I'm like, eat the damn thing. And the weight of you feeling crappy about it is so much heavier than you eating the damn thing.
Yeah.
Not now, don't take this to the extreme and say eat the whole bag or whatever, but like
Yeah.
one Oreo. And I remember being jealous because you were like, I could eat two Oreos. I'm like, show off. You can eat only two. But it's just easy to because there's so much in the fitness industry, so many like extremes and this and that, and don't do this, don't do that. And I really like the last post you shared about like physics and calorie deficit, and then like looking
Oh
back
yeah.
at all the other things.
The distracted boyfriend meme.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Because I just try to, I look at everything, and this is what I really want to share with people, because to me, I'm like, life, because I've made my life very complicated, not by choice, but this is the culture I grew up in, the family I grew up in, and the circumstances. And so even though I
You have like
was,
20 businesses.
and not by choice, and even though I was like, I had all the factors set up for an easy, enjoyable, harmonious, fun life for whatever reason. And I don't like to get too much into the trauma stuff and like, because then now like people have gone too far on that. And too, it's like everything is fucking trauma. It's like, fuck's sake, like Jesus Christ, you know? But whatever it was, I made my life very, very complicated. And so what that has helped me understand is, oh, life is actually very simple. You don't actually need anything. There's no need. The only need is food, water, air, shelter. That's about it. Um, and the only purpose for anything is enjoyment. So, and it doesn't take a lot to have enjoyment, because some of the most enjoyable times in my life have been like very simple things, like hanging out, talking with, somebody for a long time, going to play basketball, like having these types of conversations, having all of our conversations that we've had over the years, it's very simple shit. It's not what social media makes it out to be. And so, I'm like, I really I just want to share and have somebody else experience. Say, man, I'll tell you, when you're fucking ripped and you feel good and you're strong and you look good, that is one of the best feelings. I wish I could bottle that and give that to people because it's so fucking dope.
I
This
feel
is the
that
same thing.
with sorry, like I, when I see people like insecure and like, you know, I see it and I'm like, I wish I could like give you all the
There
confidence
you
you need.
go. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And so as far as like life goes, I'm like, you know, I I think it's so simple. You're nice, you're kind to people, and you have fun with. You don't need to hang around everybody. You don't need to be concerned about things that are happening halfway across the world because you can't do anything about it. It does not affect your reality. So why not have a good time and be like make your immediate influence enjoyable and better and fun and contribute in that way? A leaner, more successful, person in their field who is financially strong, emotionally strong, that is a bigger impact actually to the world than the way that people go about it. And, like, oh, this is wrong, that's wrong. So I'm like, and when then you're feeling shitty, and then what does that turn into? Okay, I can distract myself with drinking, I can distract myself with weed or whatever other bullshit. And now I'm like spiraling in the wrong direction of I'm getting fatter. I don't feel good. Hangovers, uh, just lack of mental clarity and focus, saying stupid things that you wish you hadn't said. Like then you just spiral in the other way. And unfortunately, fortunately, you could spiral in a better feeling way as well. And I think one thing you said, which is like the community aspect, I wouldn't have been where I am if I hadn't joined that CrossFit in 2008. Like, instantly changed my life. Um, and it's why I still have a coach. Like, I always have a coach because I want somebody, whether it's two people in that community, or that's why I love the gym. Like when I had San Jose Barbell, that was like that's what I was trying to create. So I think that's a good point too. Um, so what are your like? Where are you at now? Like, what are your goals? What are you doing?
So really quick to what we were just talking about, I once you realize and really just control what you can control, that's been my motto. Like in Hamilton, there's a song, I am the one, well, there's a part of the song where he goes, I am the one thing in life I can control. Like do what you can do. Like don't worry if it's out of your control. Why are you gonna worry about it if it doesn't directly affect you? Um, and so it's so funny what you just said. My massage office is at a CrossFit gym, and each of the owner's offices, massage offices, are at a CrossFit gym, and it's crazy the injuries they have. But it's really nice to be able to help people, and
Yep.
it's really rewarding massaging people for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just calming their nervous system, talking to them, getting to know them, really having that, you know, unloading time, for them, for you, what how can I help you? Um, I don't claim to fix anybody. I'm gonna do my best to help you. I'm gonna be present with you. I'm gonna be attentive to your needs. I'm very knowledgeable about the body. I had 1 year of massage school. I'm currently in school for neuromuscular therapy. I worked at a personal injury law firm for years, workers' comp. So I know different injuries from car accidents and different things like that. And it's so funny, like you can't connect the dots looking forward, like only looking back. So I can't wait to see what the future has. But
Yep.
um, the past 4 months of working kind of for myself. So I work at a CrossFit gym for Vision for Enrichment, but I also do mobile. I also go to, house calls, and I wanted to really build my foundation this year. I quit my 9 to 5, which is freaking crazy. And I'm so happy like I did that. I'm happy I took the risk. And when I see people complaining about their jobs, I'm like, what's the one thing you can do to go somewhere else? What's the one step you can take to, like, you're not a tree. In those 8 years of working in law firms, it's been eight different law firms. If you're not happy
Yeah.
with where you are, look for something else, dude. Like, you're not a tree. Like, I can't, like, you can move and
Yeah.
do one thing, take one step to do something different, reach out for help. When I first started massage school, I was like, all right, well, because I had a few people say, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you have a good job, you have something secure. Why are you going to do something else? I'm like, I don't want this. I'm sick of the commute. I'm sick of the traffic. I'm sick of the politics, and not being able to help people the way I want, I
Feel good.
guess. Yeah. Yeah. People are, my phone's ringing nonstop, and then clients are angry, doctors are angry. I don't want to be in this anxious, frustrated state all the time. And so I wanted to help people one on one physically, something. I was either massage or personal training, and I knew both of them were like a little extreme, but I looked at different massage schools. I found mine. I went to like an intro night, and I really loved everything that we talked about. And I'm so happy I made that jump. And it all took, saying enough is enough. And so when I
Yeah.
did look for that, people were like, Miha, you have a good job. What the hell are you gonna do? Like, why are you gonna do that? You're not gonna finish it. You're not gonna finish it. I know you. Why even start? And I was like, I don't care what you think. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. And if it doesn't work out, I'll figure it out. If it does, great.
Yeah.
And so knowing that it was such a big jump, when I started massage school, I was like, because I've been building a side hustle for years. I've been selling products, and I made so many mistakes with this. I was a sales robot, and that was a disaster for years. So I made tons of mistakes with this that I've been able to learn and apply with massage, and thankfully it's been going really well. And I'm grateful I'm grateful for the mistakes I made. I'm grateful that I was
Yeah.
a crazy person that now I'm like, I know what works. I know how I can, work it. And so when I started massage school, I made a massage Instagram, and I was like, I added close friends and family because I was scared. I was scared to be judged, and whatever. And so I was like, I'm gonna post things that as I'm learning. And I couldn't charge while I was in massage school, so I was like, I'm learning this. I'm available this day, nights and weekends. Um, who wants a massage? I can't charge, but I can accept tips and donations. And so I started building that. Uh, I had my 9 to 5, school, my side hustle meetings, my ex, and I was just like, go, 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 go. And so, oh yeah, Instagram. So I started posting, and people started hitting me up, and then I started like slowly getting more confident to, like, okay, I can follow more people that I weren't really close, and people were hitting me up, and I was like, wow, like I, I'm, I like this. I'm getting good at it. It's working out. Like, I see a future with this. And I was just looking up like massage people near me. Like, how can I connect with you? How can I reach out to you? How I'll have questions. How can I make the most of this? I'm paying money to go to school. After years ago, I was going to school and like I have a lot of debt for 1 year of a private school that I ended up not working out. But so I switched majors a few times, stopped going. I grew in my 9 to 5, and then I was like, I want out, so I went to massage school, and so the Instagram. I looked up I in my searching for, local massage therapists, there were some um like gurus, they were massage therapists, now they help massage therapists grow their businesses. And I'm so grateful I found them. And I think people don't do that. People don't reach out for resources. Who I want to do something, how can I get further ahead? Reach out to somebody who's already doing it.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to them, and I was always like, hey, why do you do this? Or how can I do this? Or, just, hey, I'm in school, do you have any tips for me? That's huge. If they respond, great. If not, don't worry. Find somebody else. Don't get emotional about it. Like, if you want
Don't
something,
make it a big dramatic thing.
yes. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I gotta give you props on that as well because eh, everybody kind of gets into their bubble of what they know or what they think to be reality. And reality is, I mean, for one, that is your reality, whatever you think. And for the vast majority of the population of the world, nobody is going into these like looking for mentors or asking questions. People still generally think that's like either they're not even aware of that or they think that's weird or whatever. And so there's a small group of people who like actively do that, which is why like I have, as far as physically, like I've been able to do the things I've been able to do because I have been working with and constantly seeking out information for I don't know 20 years now, like, and it's it can really, what's the word, it can collapse time. Like, yeah, you
for sure.
can I'm not going to say that it's not possible for somebody to figure out what how to do something and accomplish what they want to accomplish by themselves. It meaning like, and then I'll include like searching out information and whatnot, but I think that you can collapse time if you reach out to the right people, and then on top of that, you really go and do the stuff that they're saying. Because then there's a group of people, a slightly smaller group of people who reach out and they, you know, hire people and buy things, and then they don't do the stuff, which is majority
I
of
did
that
that
group.
so many times.
And I've done that too. And that's something that has been a big struggle of mine, believe it or not, is then taking action on that. Because a lot of times what people will do is
I'll
they
stop
think
you
the
there real quick.
thing,
It's so funny thinking like, oh, Rambir's an expert, he has it all figured out. It's so funny when you talk to people you think are experts, and like they're like, I'm just like you, just I did a few more steps. I was willing to commit. I was willing to go forward. I I'm not where you think I am. Like I
yeah,
go on.
yeah, no, I agree with that. And, a lot of us have a hard time sharing that information because we feel so afraid or judged. And it's not even like, and, we'll delve into the trauma part a little bit, but it's like you're afraid of, whatever, like, what did your parents say, or what did your parents think, or what might they think, or what might your spouse think, or,
It's your
like,
life.
and so, that does help. But I also think this is why I always like try to balance things out, because I'm like, also, business comes down to selling, making people aware of something that you have. You can sell them something that they want. What does it take for a successful liquor store? To fill it with stuff that people would want at a good price that they would want to buy it. We can make it as complicated as we want and do this and that, but like, That's as complicated as it needs to be. Same with nutrition. If you eat an appropriate amount of calories for yourself and do some type of squeezing of the muscles, and you do that for long enough consistently, you're going to get very lean. It doesn't even matter what programs you're doing. But at the same time, like, and you'll learn the context and the nuances as you go forward. You can't learn the context and the complexities and the nuances looking at it and be like, okay, how am I going to do all this stuff? You only learn it inside of it.
Yeah.
You can't learn it outside.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the group, the Easy 55, that people started having questions that they didn't know that they had, and I was really happy when I would be able to answer them, like, oh, I got you, do this, do
Yeah.
that, don't worry about that. And it's some people did say like, oh, I messed up, I'm discouraged or whatever. Like, no, don't worry, don't beat yourself up. I think that's like the worst thing you can do, like beating yourself up. And then you have some certain influence. Who do you follow? Certain influencers are like, oh, you're the worst. Oh, you ruined it. Blah, blah, blah. I'm
Yeah.
like, mm, let's have grace. Let's forgive ourselves. Let's move on. You're
Yeah.
already beating yourself up enough, and you're trying to make a
Well,
change. So
you you bring up another good point. I've been thinking about this a lot actually. Before we used to go, or a lot of people knew this, like, don't watch the news. It's all negative. Like, there's nothing in the news that is building you up or making is useful to you. As I've, contemplated, because I look at stuff, I'm like, I have a hard time. People think like I post a lot. I have a hard time posting because, believe it or not, because I'm constantly thinking about, is this useful? Like, is there anything negative in this? Like, I don't want to be like the news. But
exactly.
today, social media is the same thing. Like,
Yes.
influencers, people sharing their opinions and blah, blah. Not very, like, most of it is like shitty. Even like people who have good information and like more accurate information, they're all talking about, it's like, I could pull up something right now. Like, I know the latest thing on Twitter is everybody's like, so then you have like the fucking super health people who are like, oh, Fairlife is bad and it has carcinogen in it and this and that. And then, which, first of all, like, if you don't want to drink it, don't drink it. Like, it's not gonna, if you drink this, you're not gonna die. I promise you. I've drank fucking thousands of these. Um, but on the other hand, then you have the health people, the fitness people who are like, they know like you're not gonna die from fucking drinking a protein shake, but then they're like sarcastic and making fun of these idiots and like making jokes and whatever. And I'm just kind of like, you guys have the right. This is accurate. It's not going to kill you. It's not important. But the way that you're going about it also is feeding this weird fucking like negativity. And so I've just been like, man, I don't know, like, if I even, because I'm like, I don't want to contribute to that. I don't want somebody to look at my stuff and get like feel shitty. I
Yeah.
want somebody to, even if they never sign up with me, which most people won't, if percentage wise, even if they never lose fat, if somebody watches something that I put, I want them to be like, I want them to feel good.
Yeah.
That's it. And so, which is one of the reasons why even in Easy 555, I was like, no judgment, no self judgment. I'm not saying this through judgment. I'm saying this as an observation, right? Um, and the hardest part is our self judgment. That's really the tough one. Um, so
I completely agree with the social media thing. I go on rants sometimes on my story, and I'm just like raw. Like, this is my truth. These are my thoughts, and I try to be mindful of people taking it to the extreme. So I try to like, that's not how I meant it, so don't take it like that. But you can't do that about everything. People are gonna think
no,
that whatever about
again, it's
everything.
not. Yeah, it's not you can't control what other people think about it.
Yeah,
That's a very
but
good point.
but I do want people to look at my page, and when I post stories, it's either jujitsu, massage stuff, um, nice quotes, sometimes art, but like I want you to look at my stuff and remember to move because I do move with the videos. But I want you to enjoy things I post. I don't want to contribute to the bad stuff either. Because like you said, yeah, there can be it, it's just you got to navigate things differently. And I'm chronically online. I need to get off of it. But I I see the good and the bad and the ugly. So I do want to make sure when you see my page, it's good. It's you're either learning
Y-
something, you see me working hard, or you see me. I want to encourage you. I want to uplift,
Yeah.
inspire, encourage, and like if I can help you in any way. Oh, I posted my I had therapy yesterday and I posted a selfie and I was like therapy. I found mine on psychologytoday.com. And then my insights, I saw that 12 people clicked on the link, and I'm like, that's amazing. 12 people saw that, and that's all. That's great.
Yeah. It, this is why these conversations are so helpful because as you say all that, I'm like, I'm reminded of number one, you are not in control of how someone is gonna receive something. And that's a fucking terrible place to live, trying to like control how people are gonna receive something. So that's a very good reminder. And then so then I go to okay, then that reminds me what makes me feel good. And if I can make myself feel good, that's about as far as I need to go. And if somebody doesn't like it, so I've reached the point like if somebody and nobody really does, to be honest, people talk about this like they're constantly getting hate and like trolls and shit. I don't really see that, but on the rare occasion someone says something stupid, I don't have a conversation with them. I just block and delete. End of problem solved. Like, don't care because this makes sense to me and it makes me feel good, and I know my intention, and that's about it. And we can't have the burden of convincing people of anything. Uh, and I think one of the things we talked about in Easy 555 is like when you start a journey, fitness journey, people have this tendency to want to show people like now that they're getting results like no what do you like that's not how you do this is how you do this and this is how you do that, and so you start telling family members and friends and people like close to you how to be healthy and what to do, and it's like they might have different opinions, and so people are getting into arguments, and it's like would you rather feel good or be right?
Mm.
And so that's another thing is like I don't care about being right. I would rather feel good. So I'm not going to engage in this conversation. Most of the time when people ask me fitness questions in the like in the real world, I kind of gauge it and I'm like, "Oh, you're
What do you
just
want to
trying to
hear?
be right."
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not going to yeah, whatever you say is right. Like I'm not going to like, try to convince you otherwise, right?
I'll take my abs out there.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm fine. Like you you can do what you want. But these are like so that I'm glad you brought all that up because that actually just helps me right now and like thinking like, oh, reminder, post what you want to post because you are good at what you do, you know what you're talking about, and you
Mhm.
are not in control of how people will receive it.
Oh, man. I love comedy and comedy podcasts and going to comedy shows. So when I get emails for Hollywood Improv and like free tickets, I'm like, free tickets. Anybody want the link? Let me know. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your life. You're already stressed out, working crazy. You have family. You have this. You have that. If you can afford it, great. If and then that's the beauty of when I first started massaging, like I knew that I was gonna work my way up to full schedule. So the first few months, I was like, I'm in control of my time. How do I want to spend this? Family time, friend time. I'm able to schedule things, and now it's getting a little more difficult. But I'm like, I want to spend time with you. I'm gonna block off this time from on this day. Let's hang out. I want that. Now I'm having a hard time scheduling days off. But that's also necessary, and I can't. tell you, I want you to live a healthy life. I want you to see me and get a massage and, and not do the same thing. I'm scheduling massages with my friends. I'm like, let's do a trade. I want to hang out with you. We're going to go out. Just we have limited time. And right now I'm single. I don't have kids yet. I don't have all that, and I know it's going to happen in the future. So I'm trying to maximize this time, building my foundation, building something for me, making sure my mom and family are good. But I also wanted to add to the whole like controlling what people think thing. Um, it was really difficult for me to take ownership, take credit for the weight loss because I was on a pity party for almost a year. You asked me, Miha, how'd you lose the weight? Oh, I got dumped over text. Oh, because I had this weird thing of like, it wasn't me, it was an outside thing. Like, I know it's a hard thing, and I know weight loss is a really big struggle for a lot of people. So I'm relating to you. It wasn't me, it was the breakup, it was really weird to not be able to
It
take
is
credit. And then
weird.
so I had you and other people say, you did that. You put in the work. You were at the gym, you tracked everything, you stayed consistent. But I was just like, yeah, but it was just to get out of my head. I went to get out of my head because I couldn't stand that. I just needed to do something. But like, I don't know, can you go off on that?
Yeah.
You said it I'm sure you see it more often.
Well, I mean, we
Because
don't
I'm like,
like to.
not, it's not. I'm like, you can do it too, but or like, some ants would be like, oh, I need to get dumped too, and I'm like, sure. I'm like, just don't. I won't. I don't want to take credit for it. I
Yeah.
couldn't.
Well, for one, this is why I think observation is the best teacher because it sets our thinking straight. So I don't know if you remember like when we talked about the three filters, um, the literate, the numerate, and the ecolate. Long story short, we'll say things that stop further inquiry, and then they're called thought stoppers. So if somebody goes, "Oh, I should get dumped. I guess I need to get dumped too," or if you think to yourself, "I just, it was the breakup." Well, what you have done is you have effectively stopped further exploration of what is the truth, and now you're living off of false assumptions. Because if you take a second and you observe, are there people, and you just ask these questions like, are there people who have been dumped who get fatter?
Yeah, and I can't. I'm
Majority of
so
them.
grateful that I stopped drinking before I turned 21. So it's been. I didn't
Yeah.
have that to run to.
Well, I mean, the majority of people, it doesn't matter. They're getting fatter and fatter, whether they're entering a relationship or they're exiting a relationship. Most people are going in the other direction. So to say to place the responsibility of the success that you have experienced on this thing is 100% false. And so, one, as you observe other people say that, it's not our job to correct them. It's like, so this was one thing that stood out, what you just said is like, I need to be the example that I'm telling people to do. So, it's not my job to correct somebody's mistakes or errors in thinking. I can just live that example and whatever happens happens. Having that conversation for yourself is very important, and this is where good coaching comes into play, because a good coach will hold you. They will not let you say things. Hopefully I have done a good job of this, with my clients over the years. I do not allow people to say things that are not true about themselves to themselves or what they're experiencing. For example, this is a very trivial example, but it's also not trivial. People will say, "Oh, I'm in, for my work, I just have to drink." Like, it's like you have to drink, and I'm like, that's false. Because are there people in your field who are extremely successful and they don't drink? Of course, the answer is yes. Are there people who drink and are not successful? Of course, it's yes. So what you're saying, if I allow you to say that, then I'm allowing you to lie to yourself and then not be helpful to yourself. The truth is, you want to drink, and this gives you permission to drink,
Yeah.
and then distract yourself from blah blah blah. Um, but anyways, what's your time like? I know you had
I have class
class
at
coming
6.
up, so we'll kind of wrap up. I don't know what thoughts you had on that, but
I'll finish
that's
it till like 10 minutes before, if that's okay with you.
yeah. Um, yeah, so I think it's very important to, number one, just live the example, like you're saying, because then you get to experience the benefits. Like, hey, I tell people how to lose fat and get strong, but first and foremost, it feels really good. So I want to do that for myself. And what's going to happen is if I don't do that, it's going to come out and it's going to affect blah blah blah, all these other things. So at the end of the day, the only reason I'm doing anything is because I want to feel good. So I need to live that example, and then it makes everything much easier. So whether that's you know self-care because that's what you're selling, whether that's being a good business person because whatever, whether it's being more organized because you have responsibility, whatever it is, if you live whatever your ideal in your head is, it will make everything better. So I think that's very, very important. And then also, just the second piece of that is not allowing yourself to get away with things that are not true. And what really helps with that is asking those questions like, do I really have to drink, or do I want to drink? Because then you can get to the point of like, well, I can have a drink because I want to, and now the drama starts to die down, and you're more likely to not drink anymore.
Yeah.
I've had so many clients who are like, they were drinking like all the time because of work, and as I fucking beat it into their heads that that's not a problem, that if you want to, you can, and if you need to give yourself permission, whatever. And what do you know? The less drama and self judgment, the easier it was for people to stop drinking.
Yeah.
You so I think those are important things.
Yeah, and massaging full time from working a 9 to 5, just I being frustrated and about the workload, about coworker drama, about whatever. It was just a ton of like things I couldn't control and just trying to control it and just not like emails, phone calls, just it was just so much. And to now my job is 1 hour at a time. I'm with somebody with their nervous system, with their drama. They'll unload on, and I'm just there, but being present. I've gained a lot of compassion, a lot more compassion for everybody. Um, Being in therapy, I'm understanding of like we're all going through something, and so it's easy to judge less, um, and just like we're all on our own timeline. So with my cousins that I see that are like struggling with their confidence, I'm like, I want to, do, but
Expedite and
everybody
help.
has
Yeah.
their timeline. If you're not ready to receive, years ago with you, I wasn't ready to join your.
Yeah.
I for whatever reason we didn't work together until recently, but we're all on our own timeline. I've joined a few things and I'm like, they have their set thing, their set like guideline, and I'm like, oh, I want to do it my way. And then I'll do it my way and I'll mess up. And they're like, are you ready to do it this way? And I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
And, it's just funny to see like, I can only imagine you, I call you the mindset doctor, like trying to figure out people's thought processes and me being there, dealing with people one on one. It's been really special to get to know people and see people like in the raw form. Like because it takes a lot of trust to get a massage. It's, you're trusting me with your body to help you with your pain. And in massage school, we learn about emotional releases. Some people have start laughing and they don't know why. I'm reading a book called The Body Keeps the Score about trauma and different things that, some people will cry. In school a few times, I told my classmate, I'm going to have an emotional release today. And thankfully, my classmates are so special to me. We shared massage school, and that's those 6 months with each of those groups. It was a year, but like those people are the best friends I'll ever have in my life. Like went through, and I hear that about CrossFit too. You're going through something together. You're bonded, and I'm just really happy I can do that. And I caught myself, with the whole like breakup thing. With this, I'm like, oh, but I still live at home, so I don't pay much rent. Oh, but yeah, I know, you, you don't need that. We're all
Yeah.
on our own. Like, I'm
Yeah.
28 and I still live at home. Who cares? Who cares? Like I've
Yeah.
I've I've lived my day of a
Yeah. It
lot of
doesn't matter.
yeah.
I'm 35 and I live at home. Um, yeah, we make up a lot of random arbitrary things that are not helpful. Um, I think you said a very key word. You used to say it a lot is compassion, self-compassion. Most importantly, self-compassion, because no matter what anybody says about you or to you, what you are thinking about yourself and feeling about yourself is the most harmful, cutting thing. And so, having that self-compassion is just so important. And I'll say this. I'll end with this because you said you brought up simplicity many times, and I think that is very key. I think it is everything. But a lot of people are very smart, and they're so smart that we overthink and overanalyze. Versus some people, you look at them, you're like, how are you doing that? How are you doing this? Like, this guy is not even like on my level, right? Intellectually. But that's not like the real thing is because they don't think about like I don't want to say as deeply, but they either whether on purpose or by accident, they just don't care. And I think it's helpful to have a certain level of being either I don't want to say dumb or ignorant, but whatever those are words, because then it prevents you from like it just gets you into movement. Like you're just moving, and so you're not thinking about all of these things, which is where the problems come. Is all of our overthinking and over analyzation, and then we just become overwhelmed. And for a lot of people, when you become that overwhelmed, it's the fight, flight, or freeze, and like I think a lot of people it's more freeze than anything. And you see that with animals, like in a stressful situation, they just freeze and they're like, why would you freeze? Like you need to get out of the way. But they freeze, right? And so I think with people that's one common one. And ask me how I know. And so years go by and you're just frozen. And so that self-compassion gets things moving again. It's like I can do that. I can write. I can do something. I can do one small thing. And
That's why I,
so,
I also push for celebrating small wins. I don't give a shit how small you think it is. You made a change. You were gonna do this, but you did this instead. Great job. Celebrate yourself. Like, I don't care how I have runners. I have a lot of runner clients, and they're like, "Oh, I only ran 30 miles this week, or I only ran whatever." I'm like, "What?" They're
yeah,
comparing themselves to people who are running 100 miles, and I'm like, "You are worthy. You are good. You are amazing. Like, you it's just so
yeah,
funny how like we can put ourselves down."
yeah. And I think we'll end on this because I know you got to get out of here and I got to get going too. But this ends with a question, or a question to ask yourself, and it's knowing what you want. What do you want? And then figuring out where am I in relation to that, so then you can close the gap. You're saying, I have a person who's running 30 miles, comparing themselves to a run 100 miles. What do you want? Did you do this to start because you want to run 100 miles? Probably not. You probably want, most likely, you want to look good and you want to feel good. This 100 mile is just something that is completely arbitrary and random and made up. Because if you clarify what you want, you might be like, you can achieve that with 10 miles a week. So then anything now, even though I can achieve what I want in 10 miles a week, I'm adding all of this stress and anxiety and problems because they're running 100. So my ending question is to ask yourself, what is it that I want? Because it will lead you to simpler answers and eliminate most of the stuff that we get lost on. Um, and it's just much more peaceful. Like I don't care about having the biggest online presence or business. I care about making X amount of dollars, which will fund everything that I want in my life. And it's a lot smaller than what business coaches are wanting, are telling people that they should be chasing. And same goes with fitness and health. So what is it that you want? And I'll let you end on whatever, thoughts you have. And
A few things. I'm really grateful to be in a position where I'm inspired by my clients. I have clients who are very athletic, I have a few clients who are working to run a 100-mile race. Uh, and now that I'm in jujitsu, I have clients who are fighting in jujitsu. I have clients who do CrossFit, clients who race. And so I have people reaching out like, "Oh, do you only work on athletes?" I'm like, "No, I work on everybody." But the job, the position that I landed in, just happens to be at a sports place. Um, I just want to say, like, appreciate what you have right now. There's a lot of changes that can happen at all times, so just take a moment of gratitude whenever you can. I'll forever be grateful for you, Rambir, for opening my messages and responding to me. Tell people you love them every chance you get, and just spread love and enjoy your life and allow yourself that piece of happiness. And massage is not a luxury. Massage is self-care. So if you can spend $80 on beer or whatever on the weekends, you can spend that on a massage. And if you want to hire me, my Instagram is grounding.with.evelyn. Um, thank you so much for this. I really had a great time.
thank you. It was a wonderful conversation for me, and I'm grateful for you as well. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate having known you since whenever it was. Um, and also thank you for sending those messages. Because I can't say I appreciate everybody's messages. But I'll send me whatever links you want, and I'll put them somewhere here. We'll figure it out. But thank you for joining us, and thank you, Evelyn, and go get those knowledge gains.
Thank you.